We are counting down to Election Day, and voters will be choosing who decides how their tax money is spent.
WVTM 13's John Papke gives us a preview of some of the heated legislative races across our area.
There are about 28 legislative districts for voters in our area to decide. Here is a look at about half a dozen of the top races in central Alabama. A couple of newcomers are vying to represent the heart of Hoover and Vestavia Hills. Republican David Wheeler is facing off against Democrat Jim Toomey for District 47. Both men believe a focus on vocational training is a key for the state's future.
They're well-paying jobs. They got a good future. I think that's where we need to put our priority.
The four-year degree is a wonderful thing, but it's not the right thing for everybody, and you end up with student debt very often.
In another big Birmingham area race, Republican incumbent David Faulkner is up against Democrat Felicia Stewart for District 46. Faulkner is known for fighting Birmingham's minimum wage increase and the city council's plan to triple their salaries without public input. Stewart is a business executive who supports Medicaid expansion and criminal justice reform. Fresh representation is on the way for Tuscaloosa voters. Republican Rodney Sullivan and Democrat Thomas Heisch are battling for District 61. Sullivan wants to fix what he calls the broken general fund budget.
That's a big deal. The budget's the key to what the state can do. So if we work hard on getting that right, then I think we'll be better off in a lot of other areas.
And Heisch thinks making corporations pay higher property taxes would boost revenue.
Politicians don't like to talk about increasing taxes. Most of the time it's a death to their campaign, but somebody's got to step up.
Our next race features a familiar face versus an eager challenger. Republican incumbent Jim Carnes is facing Democrat Allie Summerford in District 48. Carnes, a political veteran, touts his work on welfare reform and voter ID changes. Summerford supports stronger environmental regulations and home rule for cities like Birmingham. Among the 8 Senate seats up for grabs in our area, District 6 features Republican incumbent Larry Stutz against Democrat Johnny McMorrow. But Morrow is no political newcomer. Serving in the House for the last 28 years, Morrow is pushing statewide high-speed internet and improved infrastructure. Stutz is a gynecologist who supports decreased Medicaid costs and better benefits for veterans. Finally, one of the most populated Senate districts in the state, Republican incumbent Cam Ward versus Democrat Jerry McDonald in District 14. McDonald's goal is to break the mentality of Montgomery politics.
To create an atmosphere of moving forward in some sort of a different direction for the state that we have not stepped into for a very long time.
While Ward feels Alabama must tackle its crumbling highways immediately.
If you want to widen your interstates so they're not a daily parking lot, you're going to have to find the money to pay for those projects. And I think that'll be the biggest challenge we face this year.
Now, like I mentioned, there are 28 races up for grabs, but that is less than half the districts in our viewing area. It turns out candidates for 34 central Alabama seats have no opposition and have already won.
Throughout the night, we've been taking a closer look at the 4 amendments that will be on every ballot in Alabama on Election Day.
Guy Rawlings breaks down Amendment 4 and explains what voting yes would mean.
The Fourth Amendment on the state ballot would set up a system to fill vacancies in the state legislature outside of a regular election. The amendment states when a state lawmaker is elected but is unable to complete their term with less than 2 years remaining, the seat would remain vacant until the next regular election. Right now, the governor is required to schedule a special election to fill an open seat. People in favor of voting yes say it saves taxpayers money. Folks against it say it takes powers away from voters.
Heading to the polls can be daunting, especially on major election days like November 6th.
But as I found out last week, it doesn't have to be. We're here to walk you through today how to cast your vote on Election Day. It's important to know that your polling location is based on your residential address, and you must go to your assigned location. We'll walk you through here at the Jefferson County Courthouse. Let's go. The first thing you need to know is to have your ID handy. This is Alexandria Stevens. She's the election coordinator. And now something's a little bit different this year. You won't have to wait in line in alphabetical order in order to vote. New technology makes this whole process a lot easier.
That's correct. The only thing you have to do is come in with an acceptable form of photo ID, and you walk over to the check-in clerk. And if it's a driver's license or non-driver's ID, they have barcodes on the back, so you can place it in the ID tray, and the clerk will scan your ID. Your information will automatically pop up. Then the clerk will swivel the poll pad around to you. You just verify your information, sign, and then you'll get a ballot receipt.
Nice and easy.
Right. Once you get your ballot receipt, you just go on down to the ballot clerk. You give the ballot clerk your ballot receipt, and then you retrieve your ballot.
So then you find your place where you want to go in the ballot booth.
Right. You go to the voting booth, and then you'll vote your ballot. Once you're done, you just walk over to the ballot machine. Deposit your ballot.
Ta-da!
And once you've deposited your ballot, then you will have someone waiting to give you an I voted sticker.
All right. Now, what if there are some difficulties that you have, whether it's filling out your ballot or coming on over here to the machines?
Well, you can always request assistance. You can either bring someone with you to assist you, or you can go to the poll workers and ask for assistance, and they'll have someone ready to assist you.
New technology at the polls speeds up the process for voters. We're told this makes for a better voter experience and better for the system overall.
Well, under the old system where you have alphabetical splits, then basically your length in time, the studies show on average is 1 minute and 30 seconds. And with the poll pad system, it reduces it between 20 and 30 seconds. So
with the thousands of voters, this will save a lot of time. And a lot of work goes into Election Day. There are a number of people who work to make it all possible.
On the front lines, poll workers who have already been selected. Each will go through training 4 to 5 days before the election, learning all they need to know.
We go through start to finish, from opening and closing the polls. We're sure to tell the poll workers to come in and make sure you turn on all of your machines. You don't want anyone to show up at 7 a.m. and the machines are not up and running. You want to have all of your ballots out. You want to have your poll pad set up so at 7 a.m. you're ready to go.
5 different trainings are set up in Jefferson County, in Centerpoint, Gardendale, Bessemer, Birmingham, and in Homewood. Still ahead, a look at just how big a role women will play on this election day.
Also, we're going to check out a sample ballot so you won't have any surprises when you go to the polls. You're watching Commitment 2018 Election Countdown.
As we count down to Election Day, we've been getting a closer look at the candidates running for Congress in our state.
We want to focus now on District 3. You can see it stretches from Cedar Bluff past Tuskegee and includes communities like Anniston, Talladega, and Auburn. This race features incumbent Republican Congressman Mike Rogers and former Miss America and Democratic nominee Mallory Hagan. The next Congress will likely be tasked with addressing border security, and Congressman Rogers says that is imperative.
The only way we are going to try to be able to stem the flow of bad actors into this country on the southern border is to build a barrier. You know, the wall is the term used, but it's not technically a wall. It's a series of fencing, electronic monitors, both aerial and ground, as well as personnel.
Congressman Rogers says the wall is an essential piece of securing the border. Now, in terms of paying for it, in the short term, Rogers says we'll have to front the money, but he says he's exploring options to pay that money back.
You know, I've introduced a bill called the Border Wall Funding Act that would put a 2% fee on remittances to South America, and it would generate $1 billion a year. You know, most of the illegals that come here send most of the money they have back home by wire transfers. That's called a remittance. It's one of the primary sources of revenue for the country of Mexico, as well as the other South American countries. $1 billion a year is not going to pay for the wall, but it's going to be a nice little shot in the arm, and I've urged the president to embrace that as one of the elements to pay for securing the border.
Rogers' Democratic opponent Mallory Hagan says the border wall would be a, quote, insane waste of money and does not support it. She wants to see those resources used elsewhere. Hagan argues improving security comes by improving the process by which people become citizens or travel to our country.
A lot of people are coming to the United States and overstaying their visas. I don't really necessarily think that border security is our problem. It's people overstaying in our country that's the problem. And the fact of the matter is that we know those people are here. And so we need to reform the process by which we make sure that people are able to extend their visas or are able to stay in our country by way that is one that's legal.
Earlier we talked about voter fatigue and how that could affect turnout on Election Day.
But that's not the only thing that could make a difference at the polls. Lisa Crane finds out just how important women will be this Election Day.
Well, there's no doubt women will play an important role in the midterm elections. Marissa Grayson with Samford University is here with me now to give us an insight on that. And you know, women always play an important role, but right now they may be particularly fired up. Let's talk about that.
Yes, so we saw that in 2016, that much of the election came down to women voters, especially suburban voters coming out in states like Pennsylvania and Ohio. And so I think there's a lot of energy right now. The Kavanaugh hearings have certainly encouraged women to voice their opinion. And we're seeing on the Democratic side, mainly women coming out. Maybe they've had similar experiences to Dr. Ford. They're feeling the Me Too movement. You also have a lot of conservative women who are speaking up. A lot of those women who said, like, what if this was my son? And they're angry that at the last minute Kavanaugh was attacked, and that's energizing for them to get them to show up to vote.
And we were talking just a few minutes ago, I've seen at least one poll that indicates the Republican women may be more fired up because of those hearings than even the Democratic women.
And I think there's a second component to that. A lot of those women are also Trump supporters, and one of the things we see with midterm elections is that if you're supportive of the president, you're going to come out and still be fired up to vote. It also has the adverse effect, but I think the combination of the two may get a lot of women up to vote.
We'll have to see how that plays out, huh?
Yes.
All right, Marissa Grayson, thank you very much.
You don't have to wait until Election Day to see what your ballot looks like. Let's take a closer look at the sample ballot. First off, to vote, you must fill in the oval completely. Don't make an X. If you do make a mistake, don't erase, just ask for a new ballot. Well, the first box you see on the top left is for straight party voting. By selecting one of these, you'll choose to vote for the same party, Republican or Democrat, for every race on the ticket. Then you would be done with voting for candidates, and you can skip ahead to the amendments. But if you choose to vote in each race individually, this is what you have to do. First up will be governor. Notice it says vote for one. On all ballots, you will see Walt Maddox and Kay Ivey. Select your pick. There's also an option to write in another candidate. Not all ballots throughout the state will be the same. Each district is different. You can find your ballot by going to the Secretary of State's Alabama Votes website, click on Toolkit, then click 2018 General Election Sample Ballots, and find your county. One thing that will be the same on all the ballots is the 4 statewide amendments. In some areas, there will be additional local amendments you will be asked to decide on. Now, do make sure you educate yourself on ballot proposals or amendments before you get to the polls. Many times, the language can be a bit tricky. To vote, select yes or no. You can print out a ballot online yourself, and you can even take a marked sample ballot into the polling place. They're for your personal use, though, not to distribute to other people. Also, be sure not to leave a marked sample ballot in the polling place.
One of the big races on that ballot, Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court. That person not only oversees the 9-court justice, but is also the administrative head of Alabama's judicial system. The Chief Justice will likely be tasked with addressing funding issues in our state's court system. Going head-to-head, Republican nominee and current Supreme Court Justice Tom Parker and Democratic nominee Judge Bob Vance both agree that addressing funding issues in our state's court system is the biggest issue that needs to be tackled.
Funding is the biggest issue. There's no doubt about it. I have lived through financial crisis as the deputy director of the court system. I understand the hurt and the harm that it causes. The courts are one of the 3 branches of government. They are a strong engine providing funds for the general fund, and they need to be restored to full capacity.
Justice Parker says he wants any additional money that's directed toward the court system to be used to address staffing issues. He says he'll rely on his experience lobbying in Montgomery to help persuade lawmakers about the need for increased funding. His opponent, Judge Bob Vance, also says legislators have to know how important funding is and that everyone has a role in making sure the courts are properly funded. He says the additional money is necessary to keep up with the increased demand on the state's court system.
For a number of years now, funding has always been so difficult for our courts. We need resources so that we can serve the people, and it's always been so difficult to get the funding necessary to make sure we have the programs in place to serve the people of Alabama. So it's a constant effort to work with the legislature and the governor to make sure our courts do have the funding needed to serve the people.
Coming up next, we have answers to some of the most common questions asked by potential voters.
You're watching Commitment 2018 Election Countdown.